hello, hello.
Woo, woo, woo. Another Friday night.
That's right. How are you doing tonight?
Every single time I say that, I have to say, you got to let me say, the mood is right.
Uh-oh.
We're going to get it done. This is how it's done. TGIF.
TGIF.
You remember TGIF days that had Full House and Steve Urkel, Family Matters, all that stuff, TGIF?
They had a full hour or 2 hours of block from 8 to 10, right? Of just shows.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hold on real quick. I never do this early, but I have to. Bill Davis.
Bill Davis. Yeah, there's the man.
That's who we should offer up as tribute tonight.
Right? That's the sacrificial lamb.
That is Bill Davis. Needs to be hypnotized. But yeah, I never do that. But thank you, Bill. Yay. He is part of, actually, I have a new team now, which I didn't mention last week, but Error 404.
That's right.
Hello from the other side. Sorry, my mic's over there. Every single time I say that, I have to say it like Adele, but I highly doubt I'm like Adele. But anyway, Bill is part of Error 352.
Right.
I have to know these area codes.
So it's all based on the area code, of course.
The network as a whole is 404 because that's what you get when you Error 404. Sorry, page does not exist. It must be a ghost.
Exactly.
Must be a ghost. Yeah. So anyway, if you want to join Error 404, our network, and want to be part of this, we're accepting people to you in different areas. We have 5 teams actually nationwide. So excited bringing that to the forefront, and it's real creative. I love the idea, and we're going to be doing some Error 404 shows too on that network coming up probably in October. Actually, Halloween.
And listen, if you guys have a group out there that want to become a part of this, network of people. I mean, listen, just for Emily alone, the way that she markets every one of these teams alone is just value in itself. But I suggest and definitely implore anybody out there that does have a team that's looking to get part and maybe linked in with something a little bit bigger. This is definitely the avenue for you.
Y'all, I paid him $10 to say that.
No, not a dime.
I'm just kidding. But not just this is something new that we've switched over and things. So everything's great. I'm working on the website. Hopefully the website will be completely done by October. That's my goal for that. But anyway, we also have Mr. Will Martinez, the professional wrestler.
Hey. But
Tell us about Dark Fringe Radio. What's going on with Dark Fringe?
We just had an episode drop Wednesday. It was a delayed episode, but we finally got it out. It was a discussion with Reiki Master Oli Fonseca, and she's a certified Reiki master. She's like super certified. She's like has all these degrees and stuff like in it, and it's unbelievable the stuff that we talked about. The history of Reiki, what it can actually do for you and improve your life, and crystals and all these things. Really, really cool stuff.
I believe in the power of crystals and stones and stuff. And it comes from a different background, but I'm not going to get into that. It's not because we got a really awesome guest.
Yes, we do.
Have you ever interviewed a hypnotist?
No, not a hypnotist. No.
Well, obviously I haven't either. So. Before I introduce her, though, Dark Fringe Radio, where can they find you?
Yeah, darkfringeradio.wordpress.com. And then you can follow us on all of our social media just at Dark Fringe Radio. It's pretty simple to find.
Awesome. And I don't know about tonight. I've been studying a little bit about this the last couple of weeks.
Have you?
Yes, I've been doing hypnotizing sleep therapy.
Okay.
And I talked to Brenda Kaye, which is our guest tonight that's coming on, a little bit about it before the show. We didn't get into details, but it's very interesting. And she...
You ever use like those YouTube videos to fall asleep to? Sometimes?
Yes. I love soft. Yes. I love soft voices or that like...
you're like one of those ASMR people. You like
listen,
those sounds.
This is not a political put in by any means. But Ivanka Trump
Lord.
has the best voice to fall asleep to. I'm not joking.
I'm lighting some Palo Santo right now.
anyway, listen, she has a 6 to 8 minute interview. Her interviews aren't very long on YouTube. Look at you.
I am.
I wish I could smell that. You know, when
it's actually really good.
When is technology going to make that happen?
Oh, I'm sure
where
not too
I
long.
Can smell it through my own screen.
Listen, you've probably seen those episodes of Black Mirror on Netflix. You know, that's not too far away from us.
Oh, I heard of that. My mom said I need to watch it. I haven't watched it.
It's really good.
I'm just now getting into Schitt's Creek.
That's actually another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. But anyway, thank you for everybody for tuning in tonight. Please share this video. Put it on your pages. That helps get the word out. That helps promote our guest for this evening. And a little bit about this. This is our first certified hypnotist on our show tonight. And it's Miss Brenda Kaye. She is a hypnotherapist with the National Guild of Hypnotists. She counsels in many areas, including weight mastery.
Wow.
Like she may need to come back on like our first show of January. Come back. I already see it already happening. Fertility, forensic, smoke cessation, performance, and corporate hypnosis. Brenda travels all over the world, and she is one of the few female stage hypnotists. And something else I found out about Brenda, and we're going to talk a little bit about the cruise lines coming up. She is part of Norwegian Cruise Lines, and that is freaking awesome. So we're going to bring her onto the show right now. We have Miss Brenda Kaye. Woo!
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming on. I'd love to have you on. So thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Awesome. And obviously Will and I don't have any experience in hypnotherapy, but can you teach me some things, especially when it comes to relationships?
Sure. I'm no expert in that field, but I can give you some tips and tricks.
Yeah.
I mean, can you hypnotize somebody on the first date? Can you?
I mean, I don't do that. I think, there's men that use hypnotic techniques. Have you ever heard of like the pickup artist?
Yeah, I've heard of
NLP techniques, like certain language patterns.
Suggestive,
more persuasive.
Right? Suggestive type. Yeah. I've heard of that.
But I use my powers for good.
Oh yes.
Good. Thank God.
Yes.
Thank God.
Well, I always mean for good.
Right.
But
that's right.
But I was just curious about that. Meeting somebody and seeing if maybe somebody can do it onto you.
So, Brenda, let me ask you a question, if I could. You are obviously highly certified in the art of hypnosis. It would be considered an art, or a discipline. Or can you tell us a little bit about the history of hypnosis and maybe where it came from? I'm completely inept as far as knowing anything about the history of hypnosis.
God. You know what? I did my training 19 years ago. So
did you?
19 years.
Yeah, I was like,
quizzing you. It has. So like all the history numbers, I don't really have in the forefront of my mind, but it's been around for a long time. And there was Frank Anton Mesmer that studied the magnetism.
Okay.
You've heard of that, right?
Yes.
Animal magnetism. Yes. And so he was kind of like one of the forefathers of hypnosis that kind of explored it and put something to it. I suck at history, so I can't give you all those details, to be quite honest.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, history isn't my big thing, but it's been around for a really long time, and the popularity of it ebbs and flows. People get really excited about it, and then they get really scared, and then and right now it's coming to the forefront of and being more accepted in the mainstream for its uses, medical purposes, pain management, fertility, and all of these modalities that doctors are recommending it. Smoking cessation. When I built my practice back in 2001, 90% of my clients were people that wanted to stop smoking. And whether they were a smoker for 5 years or 50 years, we could knock out that habit, that behavior in just one session. So hypnosis gets right into where those habits are programmed, and it helps you to deprogram, to like pull out the program so you don't have the desire to do it anymore.
Wow, that's interesting. A whole lot. So how long does it take somebody when they go under or go to these classes or things with you, Brenda, to actually get to that level of not wanting or desiring that sensation?
As far as classes to train as a hypnotist?
Yes. Or no, for like smoking.
For smoking, usually it's when I did my training, I learned how to do it in just one session.
Oh, wow.
One like 2.5 hour session. We just go in there, deprogram, reprogram all of that, and they walk out a non-smoker. Now, some people may need an additional session or two to really, sometimes we don't get to really the root cause, or we don't clean up all of the connections. So we go back in there and clean it up. Or sometimes they just need reinforcement. But you can make changes instantly.
Wow, that's amazing. I probably should have explained this a little bit. I've worked in healthcare for 13 years, and we had the smoking cessation classes, but it was a 9-week course of people and gradually coming off. So that's why I asked what I did. That's amazing that they can do it in 1 or 2 sessions, possibly.
Yeah. And when you're trying to change a habit consciously with your willpower, with your analytical, rational mind, it takes a lot longer. It takes 21 days at least, minimum, to change a habit consciously. But hypnosis bypasses your conscious reasoning, and it goes right to the subconscious where the habit is really kept. And because you make that change in hypnosis, your brain has an opportunity to disconnect, pull out the connection between your neurotransmitters, and it forms new connections immediately. When you quit doing something you always have done, like smoking, and you just quit cold turkey, then there's a disconnect and there's a misfire in your connections and the neurotransmitters. And that's why you get the irritability and the cravings and those funky feelings, because your brain isn't processing information properly. But in hypnosis, it has an opportunity to sort it all out.
Wow. I've never been hypnotized. First, I do this a lot because I talk a lot. Will, do you have a follow-up?
Well, no. One thing.
Okay. Always ask him if he always has a follow-up first.
I did have one question. I mean, it's amazing. Like, what is exactly the areas of specialty that you take care of? Like, for instance, if somebody wanted a consultation from you, what areas do you concentrate on?
I love working with weight loss. It's really fun to go in there and help people change their habits and behaviors and emotional connections around food. Now, weight is really different from smoking because you can't take away food like you could take away cigarettes. So you have to hit it from different emotional angles. But that's a really fun one. I love helping people gain confidence in business. I love helping people program their mind to achieve their goals and create a more positive mindset. The fertility hypnosis was really super fun when I did that probably 16 years ago. I had 2 clients that have had successful hypno babies, I called them. And it was a really fun area to work in. It just wasn't kind of where my passion was at the time. And so for the area that I went into, my specialty was doing the comedy stage hypnosis. So that's really what I dug into. And I started doing the stage hypnosis as a means to promote my practice, to show people the power of their minds. And I was doing that at first, and I was generating clients that way. But then the shows took off, and I've been doing that full time for the past 13 years on the cruise line. So so I would, I'd work about 6 months out of the year on and off, doing shows and teaching seminars. And then I really fell in love with teaching the educational seminars. And so in the seminars on the ships, we would talk about hypnosis, and then we would do group hypnosis sessions. And it was super fun. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Doing a lot of group work since with this current time and COVID, cruising has been put to a halt. And so I had to make a pivot and get back to the therapeutic side, but really helping people just feel better, live better, and sleep is a big one. So many people, especially going through this crazy times, they need better sleep. I love people. I love helping people go to sleep. And I actually found a study today that from Penn State University that said people sleep 80% deeper with hypnosis. They get more deeper and restful sleep. It says hypnosis may improve the amount of deep sleep you get by as much as 80%. Deep sleep helps you wake up feeling refreshed each day. And what's really fun too, the people that I work with, you know, and I like to throw in the suggestion that they'll have the most delicious sleep, and they often do, but they also often have really vivid dreams. Because we're tapping into your subconscious, which is your creative part of your mind, your imagination, it like ignites that part of your mind and it just does wild things.
Well, that's interesting because we talked before the show and I mentioned it in our introduction. Now, I have been trying that hypnotherapist or therapy at nighttime to help me sleep. I've had chronic insomnia. I can't even tell you how long. Okay. And I've tried that. There's certain, what do you feel about the voice of the person that does the hypnotherapy for sleep?
Well, here's the thing. The voice makes such a huge difference. You have to find the person that you resonate with. I am the easiest person to hypnotize, and I love to go into hypnosis, and I'll listen to other people's stuff. Or even when I was doing my training, we would, when we were learning how to hypnotize somebody, we would learn a protocol and then we would do it to each other. I would do it to you and you would do it to me. And so I had a lot of people hypnotize me, and some people, their voices were so annoying that it didn't work. I'm like, I can't stand the way they say this or their voice. And I found like a deep male voice, I'm out like that.
Really?
So I'm opposite. A soothing woman's voice. Now listen, my mom used to read to me.
There's a
to
connection.
Fall asleep.
Yeah.
And there's a girl on YouTube. You'll all look up. Go to fall asleep with Rumpelstiltskin because that's my favorite. My favorite story. I'm asleep like in second chapter of that. Like she gets me every time. But for some, I do connect that with my mother. Do you have a lot of clients that do that connect their hypnotism and stuff maybe to childhood memories or you know, like my mother's a language arts teacher. She read to us all the time. I prefer her over anybody to this day. Like I've still have asked her to read to me. So and she reads to my son. So do you ever see that through therapy or?
Well, I think we develop our preferences in our childhood, right? In those first 7 years of our life, of our formative years, and things we make good positive connections to. Well, things we make connections to, we just have a natural inclination, if we like it, to gravitate towards that, or if we dislike it, say, you know, maybe somebody had a dad with a really deep voice and he was really mean, and so maybe going into hypnosis, having that voice isn't going to work for you. So you could send somebody to the best hypnotist in the world, but if they don't have a good rapport, if they don't like them or trust them or feel comfortable with them, be it their voice or whatever, then it's not going to work. And it doesn't mean that person can't be hypnotized. It's just that they don't have that trust, which you absolutely need to get the best results.
It's that connection that you have to have.
Exactly.
Most definitely. And I do have a really great question here. And this is one of our regular viewers. He's awesome. His name is Seeker James. He's
Hello,
asking, yes. Hey, Seeker James. Thank you for coming on. He said, Brenda, did you ever try past life regression on someone?
Yes. And I've actually had it done to me. and it's super cool.
So what happens?
Oh gosh. So
Loaded question.
No.
do you want to know my story?
Yes.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yes. I want to hear your story.
So you go back with a specific intention, like, I want to go back to find out this or whatever. So here's a stupid story real quick. I wanted to find out because we had done some other stuff and I just didn't know what to do. I wanted to find out why I was so clumsy. If there was a connection in a previous life why I was so clumsy. Turns out I regressed to a life where I was a caveman.
Oh.
And I looked down and I saw really big and hairy feet. And no joke, my knuckles were dragging. And they go, who's ever guiding this is like, Brenda, what's your name? Or, what's your name? And I hear, Ugh, and then I hear Bob. Like, a caveman named Bob? What?
Bob.
I was like, where is this coming from?
It's always Bob. It's always Bob.
And I fell down like a crevice. I fell down between two rocks and died.
Oh, that's how you died.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
It was a Bob sandwich with rocks.
It was so dumb. It was really dumb. But even more profound, and I can't remember why we regress back. But again, I go back and it's almost like when you're in hypnosis and people experience it different. But this time I was super visual, and I could see myself, or actually it was kind of first person. So I'm laying on the beach and my head hurts. And I'm looking up and there's a circle of people looking down on me. And I'm like, what is going on? And people were like, you know what you did. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? You deserve it. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, and I didn't know what I did other than people hated me. People were happy that I was hurt.
Yeah.
And the hate just, I could feel it in my body. And then all of a sudden I'm floating up and over my body. So that was my death. And so you progress to your death, and then you progress to kind of like, all right, so what lessons did you need to learn or take from this life? It's kind of a reflection. And my takeaway was that I don't want to, it was a lesson about hate. Like I learned that I needed to be nice, that I couldn't treat people bad.
Well, I think a lot of people need that lesson nowadays. It's most current.
Right.
True.
Yeah. And reflecting on that, I'm like, well, that makes sense. And perhaps that's why I chose to be in this life and be of service and want to help people and help people feel good and make people feel good. And so it's kind of just a collective awareness. And a lot of people get really touchy about past lives and it's not real and you can't prove it. And whether that happened or not, it doesn't matter. It could be a story that your mind is telling yourself. But if you're getting some clarity, if you're getting a lesson, if you're getting something out of it, then it doesn't matter if it's real or not.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, but how is your brain like just all of a sudden going to come up with something like that? I mean, it's just like, I get it, but again, I don't see how people can correlate that. I mean, I think really hypnotism is really, you're able to go back to these places and see these things, and when you do that, very powerful.
And you're connecting with the higher consciousness, right?
Yes, right.
And the all-knowing. And for people that are interested in past lives, there's a book called Many Lives, Many Masters.
Yes.
By Brian Weiss.
I
read it. It's the most amazing book. Yeah.
I'm going to pull it up here really quickly. Many Lives.
Yeah. And he was
here it is.
A psychologist that was regressing one of his patients, and then she started talking about crazy stuff, and he's like, what is going on? She was talking about another existence, and he was like, oh wait, hold up, and wanted to look into it. And he actually took her back to over 100 or so lives,
like 400 years ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
And they were able to prove facts and and prove that what she was talking about was real. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I have all kinds of them up here because it's Google search. But I'm borderline on the past lives thing for me. Now, I've had my experience thinking I've been here, I'm really attached to this location. And then when I finally went to it, I'll just say it's the Stanley Hotel in Colorado.
That's where I live.
Yes.
In Colorado, but
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
My job is out of Colorado, but I work from home, but I travel to Colorado.
No way.
Yes. And I've been to the Stanley Hotel 4 times. Listen, I was drawn to this location when I was 14 years old. Had no clue Stephen King wrote the Shining there.
Yeah.
I felt drawn to that. Now, here a little bit of background. I have a master's in teaching. My mom's a teacher. I just felt drawn to this place. Like I had a connection. I remember thinking like, I'm going to go to this place when I was 14.
Wow.
I feel like it's home.
Mhm.
The first time I went there, it was like, I've been there. I've seen this. I know what the rooms are like, but it was I think they remodeled some over the years, but I feel like I've been there before. Super home. Listen, I've done paranormal investigations for 20 years. Okay. I've only captured 2 things on camera my whole entire life. One of them is at the Stanley Hotel, and it's F.O. Stanley. And if you all know the history a little bit, F.O. and F.E., they're brothers. Oh, did you see that? Did y'all see that on my computer, on my screen?
Mm-mm.
I just saw something flutter through. Anyway, F.O. and F.E. are brothers. They have the Stanley steamers. They also invented the airbrush. This is how I knew who they were. I didn't know them by Stephen King. Also, their dad was a teacher. And if you have pencils that say Stanley on them, the pencils, that's the Stanleys from the Stanley Hotel, F.O. and F.E. Stanley.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a teacher connection to me with that, with my mom being a teacher. It actually goes through several. And then me getting my master's in teaching, but that's it. I've caught 2 things on camera, and it's just interesting to me that the one place I felt like a home, and I kept saying FO. And you all, I'll post this up in comments tonight after the show. You all can look at it yourself. It was on display at the Stanley Hotel before all this Facebook stuff got popular, where they go, "This is what happened, and this is the article." We went back to debunk it, and we cannot debunk it. So it's F.O. Stanley, and the statue that they put out front of the Stanley Hotel now, they're starting to grow that maze they had for like going back to the Stephen King stuff. Looks like not that he looks bronze, but the suit and stuff that he has on in this image I have looks like the statue that's out front.
Wow.
There you go.
I believe, but I've never gone there like mentally, like a hypnotherapy, but I do feel a strong connection that way. And I've always been attracted to Gilded America time frame, and did some studies on that, and have a minor probably in Gilded America. And that's when the expansion to the West happened. And Estes Park was the first place that had electricity out that way during that time. And then I think Stanley Hotel opened up in 1906. So I don't know. Brenda, does that sound like a past life thing, or should I be hypnotized eventually? Or like, I don't know.
Or
I say
that.
yes, do it.
I can't do it tonight, but
Oh no. I mean, there's a whole process.
yeah. Does that sound like past life?
I think it does. There's some reason you have a connection there. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, I didn't know Stephen King wrote that there until I was 21. Actually, no, 22. I was 22. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very interesting to me. I'm borderline on past lives and not, but I hear a lot of people go to a therapist to kind of like set them back and get them calm and go back into that, to where they can pick up on those things.
Yeah. And, it's really weird. And because sometimes, before I do regression work, I have to work with somebody a few times before we dig deep. or before we even go back that far. But you want to regress in this life first. Is there something that happened in this life that's causing a pain or a behavior or something? And if you need to go further back, you can. But there's people that have like horrible back pain, or there's just one spot in their back and it goes back to another life because they were stabbed or something there.
Oh, is that the birthmark stuff? Like birthmark? You know, like
that's an old legend.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to know, Brenda, your opinion was, you know, in your profession, the power of the mind is obviously the main focus in this. You know, that's like the key of this whole thing, how powerful our minds can be. Do you think that since we have past lives, that some of these emotions, like when we go to certain places, we've had like maybe done something in our mind, maybe to like remember that moment, and then that's why when in our next life we go to a certain place and we're like, damn, like deja vu, like you've been there before. And then you like you ever get that feeling where like you go somewhere and you're like, man, why do I have this overwhelming feeling like I've been here before, but you know you've never been there before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You think the mind can maybe like transfer over, you know, many lives like that?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I get that feeling a lot. That's why I ask. I go to certain places.
As our spirit travels throughout its journey, it just picks up things all along the way.
Right. Yeah. Because I used to travel a lot for my job, and certain places, nothing. But then I would go to, like, for instance, like New Orleans, and I'm just like, damn, like I feel like I've been here before, but I've never been there before, you know? Just like really one of those weird things. But
I know he wants those beads.
no,
and I used to be a vice president of operations for a crude oil hauling company. It's called Nolans.
Nolans.
Yeah. But I still would say New Orleans. I couldn't help it. I am Kentucky, so I get the Nolans because we say y'all around here. I just couldn't do the Nolans.
Yeah.
New Orleans. So maybe.
So Brenda, go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead, Will.
No. I wanted to ask you. So if somebody wanted to get started with something like that, you can actually help them, like, say, for instance, over Zoom, and actually have consults with people like that. And maybe, say, for instance, when it came to weight loss or something like that, they can contact you through your website.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And that's BrendaHypnotist.com, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Or they can always send me an email, a direct email.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Brenda@BrendaHypnotist.com.
Perfect.
And actually, can I give your listeners, watchers something?
Yes.
Okay. So if you send me an email at Brenda@BrendaHypnotist.com, then I want to send you an audio hypnosis program.
Okay.
It's one of my most popular ones. It's called Mind Massage. It's for stress reduction and relaxation.
I could definitely use that.
So yeah, it's a 30-minute program. You can listen to it as you're falling asleep. It can help you stay asleep at night. And yeah, so if you email me at that email address, I will send you the link to get it for free.
Perfect. And so for instance, like, say, for instance, somebody wanted to start a program like that, how many sessions does it usually take, for things to start, get the ball in motion, as you would say?
Things can start rolling after one session, but I like to see people for at least 3 so that we can go in there and do some good work, and really reinforce it. And I am planning to run my 3rd weight mastery seminar, and I've been doing a lot of sessions via Zoom, private sessions, and the group workshops, and it works so well. People can get hypnotized just listening to an audio, much like Emily would do. You just listen to it before you go to sleep. And so it works just the same. And in fact, maybe even a little better than if you were to come to an office setting, because if you're doing sessions over Zoom, you're in your house, it's nice and comfortable. You can do it in your pajamas. And And it's a lot more convenient, and I can work with people all over the world. Before I would have people like drive to Denver out of state, people that I met on the cruise ships, they really want to work with me. So they would drive to come see me. And that takes a lot of time and energy, but now we can do it video. And I think more people are comfortable doing things on video now.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Moving towards that now. Yeah.
And by the way, too, Brenda, I'm posting all your social media stuff in our chat while we're talking. But I do have your website up at brendahypnotist.com. So if you all need email, what's your email again, too, if you don't mind?
The email that you would get your free session would be brenda@brendahypnotist.com.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. And then have the website up. So what are they like? How did you really start into this hypnotherapy and things? Like, what made you go that route? Did you have something happen to you?
It was kind of by accident.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life other than travel the world like a rock star. So and I didn't know how to make that happen. So I went to art school. But then I decided I didn't want to, I went to do graphic design, and then I decided I didn't want to do that. So I dropped out of college, and then I decided that I didn't want to go back to college until I really knew what I wanted to do. So it was kind of at a pivotal time in my life. Like, I need some direction. I need some purpose. I need some focus. Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Right. And I went to a festival in Boulder, Colorado, our little college town.
I love Boulder.
Yeah, Boulder.
Woo! Love Boulder.
And I saw a sign that said free hypnosis. And being a poor college student at the time, anything free caught my eye. So I went over and I said, what's this hypnosis and how do I get it for free? And she said, well, we are a hypnosis school. We're looking for guinea pigs for our students to practice on. They need to practice on people before they can graduate. And I said, cool. Well, what does hypnosis do? What can I use it for? And she said, well, it can change habits, behaviors. You can work at, weight management, smoking, confidence, which I needed at the time, and all these different things. And I said, well, can hypnosis help me figure out what I want to do with my life? And she said, I don't know, but give it a try. So she paired me up with a student, and it was my third session in. And I was totally scared of it at first because I just watched the movie Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon.
I was just going to ask you what your favorite hypnosis movie was.
That scared the crap out of me because
I love that movie.
They hypnotize him at a party, and it unlocks some part of his mind where ghosts haunt him. Yeah. And so I went to the hypnotist, and I was like, "Are ghosts going to haunt me?" Valid. I was really scared, but she said, "Brenda, it doesn't really happen like that." And so I got comfortable after about my third session, and I just had this aha moment. Like, I'm on the top of the Rocky Mountains looking over the mountains, and I look up at the sky, and the clouds part and the sun shines down, and I hear this, ah! It's like my Oprah aha moment. And I hear this voice saying, Brenda, this is what you need to do with your life. And it's the first time I had an absolute knowing. I could feel it through my entire body that this is what I need to do. And through that whole process, it just made such dynamic changes in my life. And I knew I wanted to do it for other people. This is how I get to be of service. And so I trained in 2001, got certified. Now, the school that was looking for guinea pigs, they were a more metaphysical type of hypnosis, and I wanted something more clinical and therapeutic, a little less what I call airy-fairy hypnosis. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I was just looking for a different style, and so I found a training through the National Guild of Hypnotists, and I did their training. And then the people that I trained with encouraged me to train in all these different aspects. That's why I did the fertility and the smoking and all of that, so I can just round out my my experience.
Yeah. Did you ever see the movie Get Out?
Oh, yes.
I didn't see that.
No.
That movie is crazy, no?
Stirring and stirring.
Oh, stop it.
I'm like,
stop it, Brenda.
Hypnosis is a bad name.
No, I know that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think Hollywood gives hypnosis a bad name? Because you always see it used in various ways. It's never used in a good way.
Right. They play it up for the drama, right? They're playing into people's speculations about it, because it's way more interesting if it's scary than if it's hurtful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I always said that. I was like, Hollywood must give hypnosis just a bad name all the time. They always use it for bad. It's never used for good.
Right.
It's always used for bad all the time.
I'm sorry. People are having issues with the links here. I don't know what's going on. We are sharing this for the first time tonight to YouTube Live and Facebook. So you're gonna see double posts. One under Paranormal Warehouse and then one under my own personal account, Emily Menshouse. So please highlight the link because it just allowed me to do it myself, but I don't know. I am myself. So I went in as a person that's viewing the show. I highlighted the whole link there, copied it, and pasted it into the search bar. So that's what opened up the links. This is our first time, so hopefully maybe next time I'll figure this out and see what's happening. But I do have your bio and your website up here too, Brenda. National Guild of Hypnotists. And this is super interesting. So do you have any siblings?
I do have a twin brother, and then I have a younger sister.
Oh.
So how do they feel about the craft or the profession that you've got in?
Well, I've always been the oddball of the family, so nobody's really surprised.
Okay.
They're like, oh, that's Brenda. She does weird stuff. So, and my mom just encouraged us, she said, have fun and do what you love. Find something you love and do it. You have one life. You deserve to be happy. Be happy.
It's amazing. Now, too, also you are it's comedian hypnotist, right?
Comedy hypnosis.
Comedy hypnosis. I'm sorry, I don't have it right here in front of me. But so how does that all play? Because I love a good comedy and laughing. Is it just based off the people that get hypnotized, or do you have a skit and things that you go by, or?
Well, I crafted a show to demonstrate the power of the mind, and we have fun with it. And my style, I'm just goofy by nature, and so I love to have fun, and I love to see other people having fun. But the point of the comedy hypnosis show is to get volunteers from the audience, bring them on stage, get them in a trance so they're more highly suggestible, so that whatever I'm suggesting seems very real to them. And then I give them funny suggestions like, now your belly button is missing, or your shoe is your cell phone and you need to make some phone calls, or you speak in an alien language and this person translates this, or you think your butt's glued to the chair. And it's kind of like the best form of improv, because I can give a suggestion. I can give the same suggestion to 20 people on stage, and they're all going to do something different with it based on their personalities, based on their experiences. And so their reaction is what makes it funny and what makes it enjoyable, how they're reacting. And I like to have the suggestions play off of each other. So when I say the word Norwegian, you'll stand up and yell, it's bingo time. And then when you hear it's bingo time, you'll feel like your butt got pinched. And then, to kind of set off a chain reaction of stuff. And then I, have the people interacting, and it's really cool.
It's amazing.
It's fun stuff. And I love to, show people, just how powerful their minds are. And then also just give them a positive suggestion at the end, for confidence and better sleep and all of that. So tie it right back to how it works for their greater good.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on, Will, do you have a follow-up?
No, I just wanted to say, what a better validation than that when they're sitting there in the audience and they're doing certain things, and they'll go to their spouse after, they're like, did I really do that? She's, yeah, you did. And so that's kind of a validation to them. They're like, okay, well, there's something to this, obviously. So that's all I wanted to say.
And some people remember every detail about being in trance. Some people, it's bits and pieces. It's kind of like a dream. Some people have no idea what happened. And they're
Right.
like, okay, when's the show going to start? And they're like, you were the show.
You were the show, right?
Yeah.
And one of my favorite suggestions, because I love to have people go out, or, you know, I'll tell you about my favorite suggestion in a minute. But what is funny too is when people in the audience get hypnotized and they're playing out the suggestions like that they're rock stars and they're doing it from their seat. So they're yelling out different things so it's like a whole nother show in the audience.
Right.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. My favorite suggestion is when I have somebody on stage and I say, you know, after the show, and this is called a post-hypnotic suggestion. So a suggestion that you'll respond to, that I give you in hypnosis, you'll respond to it out of hypnosis. So I say, after the show, you'll have an overwhelming desire to go back to your seat and you'll find your spouse and you'll give them the most passionate kiss you've ever experienced in your entire life. And you'll keep kissing them because it feels so good. And you won't stop kissing until they tap you on the back of the head 3 times. So I give the spouse the cue to tap out. So that they can let it go for as long.
A wrestling term.
Let me breathe.
Yeah, it's a wrestling term. Will the professionals should know that?
Tap outs, yes.
Yes.
So that's fun.
Hold on. We have a fireball too. He watches on YouTube. So I don't know what YouTube commenters are commenting or Facebook yet. So this is all new tonight. But thank you, Yes, thank you. And please, everybody, please share this. This helps the show, Paranormal Warehouse, but obviously it helps Miss Brenda Kaye here and her gift of hypnotism and things. And I did bring this up because I know a lot of people struggle with this. I had a thyroid issue myself. I run 20 to 30 miles a week and I was still gaining weight. And then finally, long story short, a doctor finally helped me and got me on Synthroid. I take 150 milligrams and I started losing weight. My diet didn't change, but how it's $4.99 here on your website. And I'm going to put your website up here again in a moment, but how does hypnotherapy help individuals that are trying to lose weight?
It helps by modifying their habits and behaviors around food, their emotional connections to food, helping them to feel comfortable in their body, and really, and just an overall sense of better well-being. Because when we're thinking better about ourselves, we tend to do better about ourselves and we just make healthier choices more automatically. So it's setting in the programming. And part of what I do is I help people with better choices. I help them increase their metabolism. I help with exercise motivation and I help with confidence. So those are my big 4 pillars. But then
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Brenda.
No, go ahead.
Well, I like this here too. Think thin, quick start. I think that it is a battlefield of the mind. So if you're going to start losing weight, you need to start thinking that way. That's what I get from that.
Yeah. And I have one absolute golden nugget when it comes to the power of words and weight loss. Think about the word lose. What happens when we lose something? How do you feel when you lose something?
You feel bad.
You
feel sad.
I'm a Pisces. It depends. So
if you lose your car keys, if you lose money, if you lose your favorite sunglasses, you freak out, right? You want to get it back.
Yeah.
Right. It's part of our conditioning. If we lose something, we tend to want to get it back. So if we're talking about weight loss all the time, so when we say, I want to lose weight, I am losing weight. When you lose the weight, your subconscious mind says, alert, 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 we've lost something. We better get it back. And your subconscious is way more powerful than your conscious mind. It runs 95% of your functions.
That's true.
So if it feels like it's lost or it's lacking, it's going to want to do whatever it can to get it back. So that's why it's like a roller coaster. You lose it, you gain it, you lose it, you gain it, because you're wanting that comfort back. So you eat the cookies or you make the bad choices. So it's all about, so Eliminate the word lose when it comes to weight. Start doing that and you may notice a shift. So you can melt it away, you can shed it, you can eliminate it, you can do all these other things besides losing it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, I know you have a follow-up, but we talked about this before the show started. We have about 8 minutes left. We do have a show after us now. And so it's a tarot reading card show. Please, please, please stay on Paranormal Warehouse and experience his gifts with the tarot. But we talked a little bit about, before we started, maybe possibly doing hypnotherapy online, but you said not necessarily, but there was a game or something that you wanted to do this evening, or do we have enough time?
I don't know if we're going to have time, but it's called, you can find it on my YouTube channel. It's called the finger magnets. So it's a test to see how hypnotizable you are.
Okay. Okay. I'm looking it up right now.
Finger magnets. So,
and what is the concept behind this this exercise? Just to find out how hypnotizable you are, you said?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it kind of tests your resistance to it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the I found it on your YouTube. Okay. And I'm going to turn the mute off. I'm going to just let it, I'm just going to let it play with no sound, but what's the,
I can do it if we have the time, but no, we don't have it.
We got 7 minutes.
We do?
Yeah, we have 7 minutes.
Okay, then let's do it.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I'll turn this off so it won't distract people. Okay, here we go. Finger magnets.
So you have to play along with me. Okay.
I will.
Everybody sit up straight and tall.
Okay.
Extend your arms out in front of you like this. Oop, can you see it? Extend your arms out in front of you like this. And with your hands like this, just give your hands a little wiggle, just like this, and keep that going. You're doing perfectly. Now on the count of 3, I want you to clap your hands together, interlock your fingers, and hold them tight. Here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Good. Now clasp your hands like this, bring them up in front of your face. Extend your 2 index fingers, hold them about an inch apart. Perfect. Now I want you to focus on that space between your fingers. Just stare at that space right between your fingers. And next, I want you to imagine that on your fingertips are 2 very strong and very powerful magnets. These magnets are so strong and so powerful, they actually begin to pull your fingers closer and closer together until they touch. Now, want this to happen. Expect this to happen. Watch this happen. Now, stare. Stare at the tips of your fingers. And as you do, you begin to notice your fingers drawing in, pulling in, moving in closer and closer with every breath you take. And every word I say, they're moving in quicker and closer together. And the harder you try to keep your fingers apart, the quicker they move in together. Moving in closer and closer and closer, and stop. Ooh.
It worked.
It worked on
awesome.
You. It did. And Will, I thought you'd be the one.
Nope.
Well, here's what happens. If your fingers came together, that means you have an amazing imagination. If your fingers came together and then you pulled them apart, you probably just freaked out and you're like, oh, I want to know if I'm in control. You're in control the entire time. The people that their fingers just didn't go together, then they were resisting on purpose. So that means you can be a little.
Mine did push together close. They got close.
Yeah. I'm sitting here thinking, is this really happening? It's happening. It's doing it. It's going. It's doing it. It's touching. Yes, it happened.
Yeah. Yay.
Yeah.
Great. That's awesome.
So can I be hypnotized then?
Yeah. And that's just
we need to do here Paranormal Warehouse. Let's get a group together. I see all these paranormal cruise things going on. Here we go. What the Frick Live Norwegian Cruise Lines with Brenda Kaye. We need to get a group together and go and do paranormal stuff and be hypnotized. That is awesome. Like that really happened, didn't it? I'm gonna have to go back and look. I'm gonna have to go back and look. I felt it too.
What you were saying, Brenda?
I'm feeling it, and it's like, no, I'm sitting here trying to think, but my mind is also not here. Does that make sense? Like, is this happening? Yeah, it's happening. It's happening. But then my mind is concentrating on what she's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what people do when they're hypnotized?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just respond automatically. You're doing things before you realize you're doing it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because your subconscious mind works that fast and it responds that quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Cool.
Brenda, you got to come back on, especially with this weight loss stuff and everything, first of the year. And awesome. So I'm gonna put your website back up here on the screen. I want to say thank you so much for coming back on. Now, obviously, we'd love to have you back on, and I'll be in touch with that with you over that. But Norwegian Cruise Lines, but they can also find you on your website, Brenda, hypnotist.com. And they can schedule appointments and everything with you through your website, right? Awesome. You have been a true pleasure. Really great, upbeat, fun. Thank you. And I hope to goodness at least, I don't know, Will, we're going to have to talk about this. I need another cruise part 2 that's fun.
There we go.
I'm not saying the cruise line. I'm not putting the cruise line, but anyway, I can't wait. Norwegian. Now, is Norwegian canceled? When's the next thing?
Right now, it's suspended through October 31st, but extending it out. So I don't know. I don't know when we're going to cruise again. So,
well, I'm going to tell you this next time I'm in Denver, because I go there a lot. I'm definitely messaging you.
Please do.
We'll do something. I don't know if you hypnotize me or not, but we could at least go to a bar, have a drink or two.
Yeah. Figure out the dinner at least. Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for a great night. Please share this video. We'll be back again next week. Is September. Woo! October. Halloween's right around the corner. Have a lot of stuff going on in September, October, haunted places, plus empath things coming up on our show. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please share the video. We'll be back again next week, Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until the next time, we will see you all later.